Today, we have an amazing story about a trader who made $2,400 in a month without having his own trading strategy or capital to trade with. And as he himself says, you shouldn't try to copy what he did. Here, we're talking about upscale prop trading, specifically how to get up to $800,000 in trading capital under management without risking your own money. As always, I'm Igor Fox. You're watching the Upscale channel. Let's get started.
Hello, Igor. I guess I got invited for this interview because of my small successes. I withdrew profit from Upscale after passing the challenge,
How much was it?
somewhere around $2,400.
That's a significant amount, especially considering, as far as I know, it didn't take you that long to earn it.
It could have been more. It could have been better. Challenge. I passed it quickly. Then probably we'll talk more about this later. Just during the first 5 profitable days, which are required, I made about 5,000. And instead of sitting on the sidelines, I decided to keep playing. And mama show mama.
Missy. All right. We'll definitely touch on that with you later. And now let's make sure our viewers actually know who I'm talking to. Introduce yourself. Tell us your name, how old you are, where you live, and what you do besides trading.
All right. Hello again, viewers. My name is Dmitry. I'm 38 years old. I live in the Republic of Belarus, in the city of Minsk. At the moment, I'm working in link building. This is an area of SEO, promoting websites by placing links on authoritative, relevant domains. I got into this field about 3 years ago, I think, and I've stayed there ever since. Before that, I sold computer equipment for about 10 years. Although by education, I'm a lawyer in one field and an engineer developer in another. But my heart was never really in either of those. And I'm also a proud father of a daughter and a devoted husband.
That's all wonderful and great. Yes. Look, so it's quite a journey. There's the legal side, the engineering side. Then there was the business side, but not the kind we're used to. After that, I got into marketing in general. Well, SEO optimization as I understand it, and everything related to digital marketing. So, how did it happen that with such a diverse background, you ended up trading cryptocurrency?
I see. Well, it's a story. Not a long one, or maybe it is long. So at one point, I got injured playing soccer. I tore my Achilles and ended up in the hospital. I was still working there at the same time, had my laptop with me. And this was about a year ago, during the time when everyone was actively tapping the hamster. So the whole ward, there were about 6 of us. Everyone was actively talking about the hamster thing, but I had never even heard of it. I got curious, had a lot of free time, so I installed the APK. And for about a month, I wouldn't say I was super active, but I did log in every day, did some tasks, bought some stuff. Then, after calculating the number of users and figuring out how everything was supposed to work in theory, I realized there was no way to make money there, so I stopped. But at least that led me to crypto itself because I learned about blockchain, and then I started subscribing to some communities on Telegram. Back then, Web3 was blowing up everywhere. That's probably when I got my first meme tokens in my portfolio. Once again, I tried to chase those gas pumps with mixed results. Later on, I learned about exchanges and registered. My first and only exchange was Kupoi. I don't remember who sent me the link, but I guess I'm kind of old-fashioned. Once I pick something, I stick with it. And I tried my hand a bit with futures there, a bit with spot trading, with mixed results.
So, did you study anything extra? Like, for example, any books, signals, maybe some educational video content?
Nah, I don't really have any knowledge about crypto as such. All those slanted lines, trend lines, and so on. I'm really far from that. I've never studied it.
I want to say that this person, the one with me right now, in this interview, withdrew $2,400. So listen to him carefully, and from this, you can find out how it's possible, even without knowing such things. Who achieves such a result without knowing the fundamental, basic things? I think everyone will find this interesting.
I've never studied this. Theoretically, I'll probably get to it someday. I get that it's necessary because the market often moves around within certain ranges, and the guys don't just give signals out of nowhere. Still, somehow, by moving with the market intuitively, and sometimes even against it, something works out. Not always, but there are plenty of successful cases too. And
Overall, how would you describe your trading style? As I understand it, it's copy trading, intuitive trading. And what else?
my case, it's also emotions. So intuitively, I might open a position, and then emotionally, I might open even more.
Listen, that sounds like a violation of risk management as such.
Yeah, on all fronts. Some people allocate 1% per trade, some 2. I might open a trade with a quarter of my deposit, probably. Sometimes even more. Yeah, I use tight stop losses. But not always. If I open a small position, I might set a pretty big drawdown limit. It all depends on the size of the deposit and, say, the daily drawdown for today. Because when you're trading, like when I used to trade my own money, for example, I knew that I had put in an amount I was ready to just lose. I know I can just sit there and wait it out until either it collapses or finally moves up. There were times when I sat through a loss on Ethereum for about 2 weeks, but in the end, I closed it in profit.
So, does prop trading make you more disciplined when it comes to risk management?
Well, yeah, I try to be disciplined, but it doesn't always work out. You could say that I'm at the beginning of my pop trading journey. I hope things will get better, and I'll keep working on it. But yeah, prop trading is at least about discipline in the sense that you can't lose more than a certain amount in the day. You have to calculate what you can open, how much you can open, and whether you can open anything else on top of that. I like to, when I'm trading, if things start moving in the right direction, I often add more margin. Sometimes I add the same amount as I opened with, sometimes half. It just depends.
Let's now switch over to the trading terminal, and you can clearly show us exactly how you meticulously look at the chart and then open your positions.
A few open trades. Right now, my account is at $50. That's almost minus $800. Again, yesterday it was plus 1200.
That's really great.
Yeah, that's how it is today. Well, let's take for example the same Kaida chart. At the moment, I'm doing a 50,000 challenge, as you can see. It's down $800, and it will probably drop even more. Yesterday, there was a profit of plus 1200. And here, one of my main problems when trading is taking profits. Profits. For some reason, I always want more, always want higher, and I often don't close out, and as a result, I get what I get. But if we look at this chart, I can't really give you any kind of structural analysis here. Why, where, what, or what for it's moving. As for this coin, I know it, even though it's only been a short while, but lately it's been trading in a range from 0.6 to 0.8, just bouncing back and forth. So the closer it gets to the lower end of that range, to 0.6, the more likely it is, in my opinion, that it'll go back up. So this morning I open it up and see 0.62. Basically, that's more or less where the chart is, just floating back and forth. There is no negative news background as such on the market right now, so I am deciding to open a long position. And theoretically, in my opinion, it might grow back.
What is your usual risk reward for the deal? I see that you have a stop loss, but I don't see it. Take profit.
Yeah, like I said, my main problem is locking in profits. Profits. I very rarely set a take profit. I usually close everything manually. If I do close, of course, it's to avoid losing the account, to keep within the daily drawdown. So a stop loss should always be there, just in case. It definitely hasn't dropped anymore.
Can you show your other trades? So, yeah, we saw Kaida, but what other positions do you have open, and why did you open them?
At the moment, I have 5 open positions: STRK, ASTR, PEP, PKITA, and ITH.
It sounds like that's surprising to you. Well, at least that's the tone I heard in your voice.
Yeah, it is. It's not that I rarely see green numbers on the screen, but Still, when the market mostly, well, last night it started dropping, overnight it was falling, and it can keep falling during the day. But like I said, it basically reached the ranges where I'm ready to go long. So I went ahead and opened those positions. And
Hey, can you pull up Ethereum for me? Because Ethereum is still a fundamental asset.
my situation is pretty similar. Everything was going up nicely yesterday. Then it started to drop. It kept falling all night, and this morning it kind of stabilized and started bouncing around in the 360 to 320 range. So it's just moving back and forth there. For me, at this point, Ethereum's breaking point, when it really drops, in my opinion, somewhere down, is around the 300 to 3,000 range. So since it's just bouncing around here, and again, I don't see any bad news background. Basically, I still think the market is bullish. Yesterday, a lot of small wallets got in here, and they got in at the top. For me, the probability that this will be bought back is higher than the probability that it will fall. Again, this is purely intuitive, just my own subjective opinion. A lot of people in the channels are also expecting growth. Many are saying that it's going to fall. Like I said, trading, I don't know. For me, there are no 100% guarantees for anyone, and in TA as well. So I saw that it was trading more or less in the same spot, so I took a long position. Since yesterday it was higher, ATH is even higher, and theoretically, right now, everything is more or less growing. And for me, the chances that it will go up are still higher than the chances it will fall. Overall, that's how it is for all coins for me. The established ones, they move within certain ranges over a given period of time. By nature, I'm more of a bull, and for me, the probability that a coin will still try to reach new highs is greater. ATH, rather than expecting it to set new lows. That's why I try to get in my opinion, at a lower point and wait until it goes higher.
It sounds painfully simple to be true. But since we're recording this together, that's really how it is. And that truly gives us a significant amount of hope, indicating that fundamentally, in the realm of proprietary trading, even when equipped with this particular kind of specialized knowledge and understanding, you might, in a theoretical sense, indeed get incredibly fortunate and experience some good luck. And then, quite naturally, along the entire journey, you will progressively begin to adapt and refine your overall trading approach and methodology. Or maybe you'll have some changes of all. When you switched from spot trading with your own capital to trading with a prop firm's capital, did anything change in your trading strategy?
I'll say right away, emotionally and psychologically, trading with someone else's money is much more pleasant and less stressful. And honestly, trading with your own money, well, you just can't trade with those kinds of amounts because you simply don't have that much free capital. Because crypto, in any such matter, you are pledging something that, in principle, you are ready to part with. Because anything can happen, just like there. October 11th, I think, when everything fell. It's a good thing I was sleeping then, by the way. Although I had a short open, and that's actually one of the few shorts that closed for me by take profit on the exchange. But if I hadn't been sleeping, I would have taken off that take and waited for it to go lower and lower and lower. Who knows how it would have ended? So no one is ever fully protected from anything. And that's why buying an account there for 50,000, not everyone has that kind of money to buy it themselves, to buy it there, roughly speaking, for $400, right? You can't just blow up the whole account into the negative. Basically, you have certain restrictions there. First of all, you're not trading with your own money. First of all, you're trading with a lot, and it's always nicer to see that. It's a lot more exciting to see profits of 300,000, 400,000, or 500,000 than just $5 or $7. Emotionally, I don't know. It kind of gives you wings, like just a little more, and you'll have that lamp in the garage. That's why you treat it much more calmly than when you're trading with your own money, losing your own money, realizing that once it's gone, that's it. There's no more.
But here, you lose someone else's money, and you still feel calm inside, because no one's going to smack you for it.
Like they say, if it's not yours, you don't feel bad about it. Well, of course, everything within reason again. Obviously, everyone comes here hoping to make money. So you still end up spending your own money to buy the challenge. And today it's $400. You blew it. Tomorrow it's another $400. You blew it again after 4 times. So in any case, the amount adds up, and that's your own money that you took out of your own pocket. That's why it's reckless to just go all in, like a lot of people suggest. Buy the challenge, pass it, and go all in. And God forbid you get lucky. That's something I never recommend to anyone. And I don't do it myself, although I did have one situation where I had to take a risk. And in the end, it led to a $2,400 withdrawal.
Right now, I want to invite all the viewers watching us to follow the link in the description and check out what we're talking about. In short, we're discussing prop trading. Prop trading is when you trade with a company's fairly large capital. In the case of Upscale, that's up to $800,000, and you get to withdraw your profits, up to 90%, without risking your own money. So you get capital from us, you trade, and you withdraw the profits for yourself. And that's definitely something to be happy about. You know what? Since you just mentioned withdrawals, let's talk about that. Let's move on to the part where we discuss passing the challenge, come into the withdrawal stage. Tell us about your journey overall. How did it happen that you passed 2 challenges, and why did you decide to go for the second one? And you only got a payout after the second one?
Well, the first time I got in, I checked out Upscale, took a look around, compared things, and just decided to try it out for myself. I bought a $5,000 account. It was less than $100, probably around $70 or so. I don't really remember. And well, I decided to give it a shot, tried it, and passed it on my first attempt. I passed it quickly in about 3, 5, maybe 8 days tops. I think I managed to pass it riding the wave of success since everything was going so easily and quickly for me. I managed to blow up that account in just 2 days, but that didn't stop me. Let's keep exploring. I decided that I didn't have enough daily drawdown, so I needed to go bigger after weighing all the pros and cons. I figured, well, maybe 25K would suit me. So I got a 25K account and started the first stage of the challenge. I passed it again in just 3 days. And honestly, I probably made the required amount in a single day, then just topped it off with some profitable trades. And then I started the second stage. The second stage wasn't as smooth, even though I was having profitable days overall, but there was a pretty big drawdown. And one day you could say I lost my cool. I jumped into Zach, by the way. Well, Zcash. It's actually one of my favorite coins, by the way. And it just so happened that this was a period when it started to really take off. I went long with a pretty big amount. It turned out that I nailed the move, got the entry point just right. And it went exactly where it needed to go. Moved up pretty quickly, which let me cover my losses and get into the profit I needed. And roughly speaking, it was a pretty risky move. With that one trade, I closed out my challenge and the next day started making money. The first 5 days were just amazing for me. By any trader standards, really. And 5 days, I made something like 5,000. I even wrote in the chat, like, that's it. Now it's time to sit on the sidelines because I know myself. I'll end up losing it all. But still, that didn't stop me. Even though I know myself, I didn't lose everything. At first, when I started, my goal was like, man, if I could just make 2,000, that would be awesome. Maybe that's why it didn't really put any psychological pressure on me. I saw that I had more, so I didn't hold myself back. But in the end, here's my payout, $2,403. That's what I was able to withdraw, what I managed to get.
That's $2,400 honestly earned, and even 20% higher than your original goal. So, am I right in understanding that the challenge itself consists of phases. There's the first phase, the second phase, and the funding phase. Basically, you changed your risk between the phases, because in the second phase, you actually passed it by deciding to increase your risk. The position size, so what essentially contributed to that? Why'd you make that decision?
Yeah, I changed my risk levels. I started out cautiously. Later on, when the account is already in the green, you kind of figure that it won't be the end of the world if you end up back at zero. So accordingly, you increase your margin a bit with each trade. The account goes even further into profit and you add even more margin. Well, that's just my own experience. Not everyone does it this way, and honestly, they're probably right. It's better to be consistent. It's better to make 2 to 3% than to chase after huge returns. But still, that was the strategy I used. If I happened to catch a good streak, as they say, if things started going my way, then in the following days, I would operate from the mindset that I already had a bit of a cushion, some reserve. And if I happened to lose it, it wouldn't be a big deal. I just go back to my initial 25,000 and start over. After withdrawing, a new 14-day period began. On the first day, I went back into my favorite asset, Zeg. I made, I think, about 1,200 on it. On the second day, I went into another favorite asset, Starknet. I totally misjudged the movement. I held through the drawdown all the way until late in the evening. I was in the red the entire day. In the evening, everything turned around, started going up, and brought me some extra profit, plus 400 on top of that 1,200. But here, I had set a take profit a bit higher, right where the reversal happened. At that moment, I wasn't watching or paying attention. And when I opened Upscale again next time, I saw that I had a really, really, really big loss. Because I hadn't moved my stop either. It was set from the very beginning when I opened the position. So overall, that day was a failure. The next day, like a lot of people do, I tried to win it back, but it didn't work out for me. But instead of approaching all this calmly and sensibly and trying to win it back little by little, and as a result, the challenge, that's where it ended for me.
I have absolutely nothing further to add here, but I am more than absolutely certain that after carefully considering all these significant events, you have undoubtedly identified a substantial number of crucial mistakes for yourself that you have firmly decided not to ever repeat in the future. Because, as we know, you took on the next challenge, so you're clearly serious about it. So, can you share the mistakes you made and the ones you would recommend, not making to those who are just thinking about starting?
In my opinion, the most important rule after following risk management and everything else is to lock in your profits. Crypto gives a lot to many people, and it does so every day. Not everyone, okay? But a lot of people are greedy by nature, right? And that's why we always want more. We always want higher. We always want it all at once. Unfortunately, that almost never happens here. Those are 1 in 200 success stories. Someone made 2 million, but that's just gambling. So first and foremost, you need to learn how to lock in your profits. You'll have plenty of profitable trades, trust me. You'll be trading with the market, you'll be trading against the market. If you don't go all in, you'll find your winning trades somewhere, and those will cover all your losses. But the main thing is to lock in your profits. If you don't lock in your profits, it's all just virtual. That's why you could end up with nothing. It's better to lock in 10%, 5%, or 4% there. And next time, with a clear head, open something else and lock in some more, 4%, rather than seeing yourself up 100 and then ending up down 200.
But if you were truly starting completely from scratch, what exactly would you do differently? Perhaps even fundamentally differently, besides, of course, diligently locking in all your hard-earned profits and ensuring long-term financial security. Setting stop losses.
That's a good question. I can think about what could have been done, what probably would have made more sense, like taking on less margin. Setting strict limits for myself. Like, if I have 3 losing trades, then that's it for today. I'm done. I know a lot of people do that. If they take a loss of a certain amount, that's it for the day. A lot of people do that too, and it's the right thing to do because all of this starts to shake you up. You start to get on an emotional roller coaster, and many people, myself included, do completely irrational things when they're emotional. Overall, I like my trading style, and I analyze my past situations, especially when I lost. And when I made gains, as I already mentioned, my main problem is taking profits, locking in profits. I see the profit in the moment, but I want more. Just lock it in now, take a break, come back tomorrow. You're already in the green, and tomorrow you can make a new trade. Not always, but still. But honestly, when you have it in the moment, it's better to just take it. So for me, the main thing right now is to teach myself to hit that button and close the position, or at least close 50 to 70% if I want to keep holding, so I don't end up with nothing. Because the way things go for me, if you look at it overall, I actually have way more trades that go into profit than those that immediately go into the red. But with those profitable trades, I have this. Right now, my relationship with them is that I don't always close them out.
What valuable advice would you generously give to individuals who genuinely want to try, or perhaps diligently follow your successful path, or even boldly make their very own unique way in proprietary trading with Upscale?
The first thing I can say is if you've decided to do it, then just do it. That's the most important thing. If you don't try, you'll never know whether it works out or not. Always be at peace with yourself. Not everything is always successful, not everything always goes well. Sometimes a lot of people feel like giving up, but in my opinion, there's no point in getting discouraged. It gives you the chance to test your skills trading with pretty decent deposits while investing a minimal amount of your own money. So the psychological burden will be lighter for you. The desire or the drive to grow your capital will be bigger and bigger. You'll have a strong desire to succeed. If you stick to risk management, which you definitely should, no matter what your strategy is, everything will be fine. Everything will work out. Lock in your profits, and everything will be great.
What an amazing note to end on. But before we wrap up, I'm curious to know, what did you feel when you got your first payout from prop trading? Did you have any doubts before all of this? And how did you feel afterward? As for
Doubts? I didn't have any. I mean, I sent the money easily to get the account. And when I was waiting for the withdrawal, I had no doubts that it would reach me. In fact, I was waiting for it, thinking it would take up to 2 days, as stated, 48 hours. But it actually came really fast, probably in about 3 hours, and I already had the money in my wallet. I had no doubts because there's a live, active community that communicates, shares their successful cases, shares their withdrawals, and shows them. So for me, everything here was pretty transparent. As for my emotions, it was awesome. I did it. I'm proud of myself. I want more. I need to keep trying. I need to work harder. It was great. I really enjoyed it. I liked the experience, and I have no intention of stopping. I hope that in the near future, I'll complete the 50K challenge and move on to the active phase of mining USDT.
listen, that honestly sounds fantastic. And on behalf of Upscale, we can only wish you success in your trading results and, of course, new payouts. Dima, I want to thank you for taking part in our interview. I'm more than sure that our audience has responded in some way. They've seen how you can trade, how to reach your own heights, and also which mistakes are best avoided. I want to thank everyone for taking part in the interview. Specifically, you, the viewer, I'd like to ask you to follow the links in the description and try trading with the company's capital yourself. And I just want to wish all of you that we'll meet at the top.
Thank you, Igor, for the interview. It was great, really interesting. Thank you. Thanks to Upscale for the opportunity. Thank you all for listening and watching. I hope you found something interesting for yourself. Maybe something useful, maybe not so much. With that, I want to say goodbye to all of you. And don't do as I did.
That's all. What an amazing way to end the interview. Goodbye, everyone.